Okay, this experience happened yesterday morning, May 14th, about 6:45 in the morning. And, see, like many weeks ago, I had been asking for them to take me to real-time 3D, like to take me out of body, but to take me to real-time 3D dimensions instead of, and they've done that before many years ago, but instead of like the virtual reality scenarios, which are just like 3D atmospheres, except they're artificial. They create them through their technology or whatever. Yeah, it's just that one of them really is real and the other one is the artificial 3D reality called virtual reality or whatever. But anyway, yeah, who knows what the hell is really real anyway, because this dimension is not really real anyway. So this experience was so different, man, because, oh my God. Okay, and I don't know if this being has ever given me an experience before, because no being ever took me out of body quite like that before. But a few years ago, I noticed that they kept communicating to me by pop songs. 1980s, 1970s, early 1990s, mainly 1980s. Which is very easy to do because that was during my time era. And all of those songs had very clear lyrics and words. And so anyway, see, I can't remember if I started hearing the song before I started asking for an out-of-body experience, or if I started hearing the song after. I was like, hey, you want to come give me an out-of-body experience? Yesterday morning. And I kept humming the song, but I can't remember what it is now. I wasn't really sure. I wonder if that was, the reptilians giving me that song that I was humming. And it was like a pop song, a 1980s pop song, and it said something like, I want to love you, or something like that. Hopefully it'll come back to me. Lots of times I have to write them down immediately. Otherwise, once I wake up for many, many hours, I'll forget it. But so anyway, he gave me a song. And like I said, I don't know if this being has ever given me an out-of-body experience before. I don't know, but like I say, several years ago, about 3 years ago, I noticed that there were several beings, at least 2 to 3, kept communicating to me by these songs, pop songs, which all of those songs that they give me, that they relay to me, are very clear in my brain, in my subconscious or whatever, because I heard those songs over and over again in my teenage years and single-digit years. So they just pick out something from my brain and bring it out to the consciousness, and then I'm just sitting there humming it like crazy. And they can do this during broad daylight too, when I'm just up and around. They've done it before, not just when I'm in bed early in the morning. But anyway, there was a couple beings back then that were hitting on me. They were giving me these romantic songs, and they were hitting on me. And I didn't really know if they were just teasing or just playing around. Like, they kept giving me these back-to-back songs, like You Got the Look. That song, You Got the Look, by, I could get my list out. But anyway, they kept hitting on me. I actually wrote over 100 of them down that they communicated to me. But, I just figured they were just teasing around. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I can do a video later about all the songs and stuff. But anyway, so I don't know. Maybe this was a being that's never given me an experience before. And one of the beings that was hitting on me a few years ago. Oh my God, my cats are back there having sex. You guys quit that. Okay, yeah, so like Bobby, he's fixed. He's been fixed since 4 months old, but I don't want to cut my female cats. So they're not fixed. So he still tries to mate them. Okay, so anyway, so I mean, I don't know if this being because it was different. I mean, it was kind of different, the way he took me out of body. But, you know, a lot of the beings, they can take me several ways. So, you know, but I definitely don't think that this was Joel, because he's much more rogue than this. He would have did much more rogue things in the abduction, so I don't think it was Joel. But yeah, some of the beings, they don't just take me out of body the exact same way all the time, but I'm just saying I've never been taken out of body quite like this. And it was fun, and it was awesome. So anyway, a reptilian being gave me a song, and it was a pop song, 1980s, maybe even late 1970s, and it said something like, I want to love you. And I just kept humming it and humming it. But like I say, I kept wondering. I wonder if that was a song a reptilian just gave me. But I wasn't really sure. And then so I just started asking for an experience. I was like, hey, reptilians, you want to come give me an out-of-body experience? Or, you know, virtual reality experience, and or both. I was like, are you there? Are you there? Do you want to come give me an experience? So lo and behold, one being came forward and took me out of body, and this is how he took me out of body. But like I said, he gave me that song. So I don't know if I was just going to get the experience regardless, because it seems like I started hearing the song before I started asking, asking for the experience. So maybe I was going to get it regardless, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure some of them I do get because I hound them. And then sometimes I think it's just coincidental, like, I'm going to get it regardless if I'm asking for it or not. So the being came forward. I was laying on my left side. And it felt like a fan. You know, like a big commercial fan that you see at a gym. A big old fan that was blowing at me, as well as going in reverse, meaning it was blowing at me as well as sucking me out of body. It was really cool. I've never been abducted quite like this before. It felt really cool. And, yeah, so it felt like he was taking this big old commercial fan and sucking me out of body. Except, like I said, I also felt all of the force and breeze of the fan on my body. So it was going both ways. And so, I was like, and the whole time that he was forcing me out of body, I was talking to him. And I was like, Joel, even though it wasn't Joel that was abducting me, I believe it was a different reptilian. I was like, Joel, come on, you could do it, come on. Because it takes quite a while sometimes to get me completely out of body. And so I was talking to him, and I was like, come on, you could do it a little more, like a little more. Okay, so finally, because I think sometimes I'm so alert that I'm going out of body that I know, what they're doing. I'm so alert that I know what they're doing that I kind of fight it. And so that's why it takes a little while to get me out of body. So anyway, so finally he got me out of body, and he plopped me down in a house. Like an old house. It seemed like an old house with antiques in it. But he didn't plot me, he plopped me straight into a square bedroom. It was a pretty small bedroom, but it had really high ceilings. And it was completely, and I was just like, I can't believe this. I can't believe what I'm seeing. And like I say, at the beginning of the abduction, I kept talking to Joel because I don't have a lot of names for a lot of them. I mean, so I just always call him Joel. I name some of them like Joel, Jesse, Pablo, and Venus. And I pretty much know Venus, and I pretty much know Joel. But, because I know their style. So a lot of times, if I'm being abducted, I'll just call him Joel. Even though I realize now it was probably a different being. It wasn't Joel. So he plopped me down into a bedroom. And it was completely square. It was pretty small. And I was just like looking around, and I was like, I just can't believe this. I can't believe this. It's like he's trying to tell me he wants to be my boyfriend. Like he wants me to be his girl. Like he was courting me. He was romanticizing me. And the other thing, I was just like, wow, everything is freaking aqua blue. It was this color right here. This color, a little darker. this color. The whole bedroom was that color, like aqua, like sky, not quite sky blue, kind of like aqua sky blue. And the bed sheets were aqua sky blue. Everything was aqua sky blue. That whole bedroom, the whole bed sheets and everything. And I mean, I was just like, I just can't believe it that he was doing that. Or that this being was like being romantic. And telling me that he wants me to be his girl, so to speak. And anyway, the bed had some flowers on it, a couple red flowers. There was some candles laying around. There were some candles laying around that were lit. And there were some other flowers, you know, like sitting around the bed. And so then... But basically that's what he was trying to tell me. He was courting me basically, which was like really awesome. So anyway, so over to let's see. I'm trying to think how the bedroom was laid out. Well, anyway, I went to the other part of the wall. I walked over to the other part of the wall, and there was a bag with chocolates in it. Long square boxes, long rectangular boxes of chocolates. And my sister has given me boxes like that before of Godiva chocolate. And so there was a couple boxes in the gift bag, and I hurried up and opened them up, and because I wanted to hurry up and open them up and eat some of them. So the experience, you know, because I didn't want the experience to end like prematurely. So I wanted to hurry up and do all that in case it, you know, ended or whatever. So I actually opened up some of the wrappers, and I was looking for a dark piece of chocolate. And I did see a couple darkish ones, and I actually put them in my mouth and ate them and everything. But they didn't have a real strong chocolate taste. But they did taste like chocolate. And so anyway, so then I proceeded. There was a couple other people in the house. There was my sister in the house in the other bedroom as I went out of this lovey-dovey bedroom. But I never did interact with her or anything. It was her and somebody else, maybe my brother, but I didn't interact with them. And so anyway, I walked out of this lovey-dovey bedroom, and I'm calling this an out-of-body experience. I'm not calling it a virtual reality experience because this was simply just an out-of-body experience, because it seemed like he took me to, which I guess it probably was both, but I'm not calling it that. Because he took me, it's like he took me to, like in real 3D time, in real time 3D. But, you know, I don't know if I really was or not. You know, when I went out of the house and I was in that amusement park, like walking around that environment, it seemed like I was really in a real 3D, you know, in real time, in 3D somewhere. But like, maybe I wasn't, I don't know. But he made me to believe I was. And like I say, I was asking for all of that many, you know, weeks ago. But like I say, it probably was artificial, but it did not seem like that at all. So anyway, I mean, even the virtual reality scenarios, even though I might know most of the time I know in the experience that it's artificial, it still doesn't feel artificial. It still feels like 3D, but I just know that I'm not in real 3D time, that it's another, you know, reality, artificial reality that they created for me. I know all that. So anyway, so I walked out of the lovey-dovey, actually, no, there's one more thing. Okay. So I walked out of the bedroom, and I went into another room that had antiques sitting around. Over to my left was a fan, and I touched it, because I always like touching things when I'm out of body. And there was a piano. And I actually went up, it was over to my left. And after I went up to the piano, I started playing it. And it started playing, I mean, just like a normal piano. I mean, I just started do. And I mean, just like no different than 3D. And like I said, I don't really know how to play the piano, but I was just like touching, you know, keys and stuff. And it made noises just like a normal, real piano. It was so awesome. I mean, it's when they abduct you and put you in these other scenarios, I mean, it's no different than just walking around now like in 3D. It's so awesome. but I'm just very conscious. I know when I'm in like a real 3D environment or if I'm in an artificial 3D environment. But like I say, they haven't really done that in a long time. Like back many years ago, they took me to a school down the street. And I really believe I was in 3D real time at that school. But they haven't really done that in a long time now. You know, most of the scenarios are artificial 3D scenarios. Virtual reality scenarios or whatever. So anyway, I started playing the piano a little bit after I ate the chocolates, and I touched the fan because I was like, wow, you know, because I always like feeling things when I'm out of body. And that's where my sister and brother were like standing around, but like I say, I didn't even interact with them at all. So then I go over to my right and I go through a little hallway, and over to my right on a table was this big, tall, beautiful jewelry box. And it was wood and it was tall, about 12 inches tall. And over to my left was this little bitty female pocket knife. And I picked it up, and it was real ritzy looking. It wasn't for men, it was for women. It had like pearlish type of stuff on it. Like pearl. I mean, like I say, it was made for a woman. It was not made for a man. And I picked it up, but I set it back down. I don't know why I didn't just take it, but I didn't. I set it back down. But in the jewelry box, I opened all the little drawers up in the jewelry box, and there wasn't any jewelry in it. I mean, I was like surprised. I don't know why he couldn't have put gold and shit in there or diamonds, but he didn't. There wasn't any jewelry. So you know, I closed all the drawers up in the jewelry box, and I set the pocket knife back down. Over to my left was another table, and there was just a regular knife on it. And I remember thinking, well, I'm gonna like cut my finger just to see, because I knew I was out of body. I wanted to cut my finger. And then I thought, shit, I better not, because I know I'm still gonna feel pain and I know I'm still gonna bleed. It's really weird. It's like I was out of body, except I knew I was still physical. I know it's kind of weird, but that's what I'm saying. This experience was different. Like he messed with my head a lot or something. Because lots of times, you know, when they take me out of body and put me down into the cave or whatever, I can feel my body and I can tell I'm energetic. I can totally tell that I'm not physical. But when you touch yourself, you still feel, you know, you can still feel the same sensations like as if you're in your physical body when you touch yourself and stuff. But I can tell that I'm energetic many times when I'm in these out-of-body experiences. But this time I knew I was physical. For whatever reason, it was really weird, I know, but I knew that I was walking around still physical in this out-of-body experience, which kind of makes no sense. So I did not take the knife and cut my finger because I knew I would feel pain and I knew I would bleed. I was going to cut like my left hand, my finger or whatever. So anyway, so then I walked on out the door. Then I'm in this, it's like an amusement park. There's a bunch of people walking around. I'm in this amusement park, except, you know, I don't see any rides or anything around, but that's what it was like. I felt like I was walking around, you know, the area where you walk, you know, to get to a ride or whatever, except I didn't immediately see any rides. But that's what I felt like. Like I was at a park, but it wasn't like a regular park. It was like an amusement park. You know, like this right here. Okay, so anyway. So then, see, the reptilians, they like to make me bully people and say crude things to people in my abductions. They like to make me bully people. They like me to, they make me push people in my abductions. And, they like to make me say crude things and sexual things sometimes to the people I interact with in my abductions. So anyway, I was looking around. I was just walking around this amusement park, and I was looking around, and I saw this older man, like 50s, and his younger son, like 30s, walk by, and he was kind of plump. And I remember thinking, okay, I'm gonna I think I'm going to harass them and ask them, are you a homo? And then I thought, well, I better not, because I knew I was still like in this like 3D atmosphere, like I was still physical, and I knew that they would probably come up and kick my ass. So I thought, okay, I better not pick them to do that, to bully them. So I saw this woman to my left walk by, and she was kind of plump, and she looked kind of familiar too. She had long blonde, long brownish, light brownish hair. And like I say, she did look kind of familiar, so I figure, I guess because she's a female, I'll just bully her. So I yelled out at her, and I was like, are you a homo? And then finally, it took her many seconds. But finally, she turned around, and she's like, I'm a lady. And she just gave me this, this, like she was offended. You know what I'm saying? Well, of course you're going to be offended if somebody just blurts out at you, are you a homo? So anyway, she didn't try to come up and whip my ass or anything, but she did, finally, after many seconds, she turned around and she's like, I'm a lady. And then she just turned back around and walked on. But that's why this experience was so weird, man, because it's like I knew I didn't want to just go up and fuck with people and push them around, because I knew I would get my ass whipped. Whereas, in other experiences, I know they're not going to whip my ass, because it's like I know it's being controlled. I know all the other people are being controlled by the reptilian. But in this experience, he was making me believe that I knew all of these people were not being controlled by this reptilian. All these people were freaking real. I was in like some 3D real-time atmosphere somewhere. I mean, maybe I really wasn't, but that's why he led me to believe. And I knew I just didn't want to go up to people and start pushing them around and shit, because I knew they would whip my ass, and I was still physical. That's what I'm saying. This experience was so weird like that. But, so anyway, the reason why he put the homo thing in there was because the day previous, all my 3 cats were on the bed, and I took my iPad, and they were like all being lovey-dovey and stuff, and I was like, Cesar, you're a homo. Because Cesar, I always think he's a homo cat, because he's not an alpha cat. He's kind of a sissy boy, so I always call him a homo. And so the reptilian took that 24 hours later and decided to stick that in my abduction. That's exactly why he put that in my abduction at the end of the abduction. But that's what I'm saying. This experience was so different and weird, because it's like I was out of body, and except it's like he took me out of body, but he still stuck me in a 3D real-time atmosphere, except I was still physical, which makes no sense, really. You know what I'm saying? Because I know damn good and well he didn't take a fan, or his technology that felt like a fan. I know he didn't take me physically to somewhere physically. I know it did not happen that way, because I know when I'm physically abducted. I know when I am. My body knows it, and they cannot hide that from me. The Greys cannot hide that from me. It's very, very traumatic when you know that your physical body had been taken someplace else to, their dimension or whatever. Well, they still have to separate somehow your physical and astral body, but yeah, so that's why this experience was so weird and awesome. But like I say, I had been asking for them to take me to real-time 3D, to take me out of body and to take me in real-time 3D places in real time. Like if I go out of body right now, take me down the street at the park, and these people are walking around in real time. So I think that's why he did that. But I really was, my body really was astral, except, I don't know, he just somehow manipulated everything to where I was still physical and everything, walking around. Yeah, it was really weird because, like, normally when I go out of body and stuff, I mean, I know I'm out of body. I mean, I could do back flips and front flips. And, of course, since you're just astral, it takes longer. It's weird. Like, when I did the backflip down in the cave, when that female reptilian abducted me, it, like, you just kind of have to use your mind and you tell yourself to do a backflip. And your whole astral body will do a backflip, but then it takes a little longer. It's weird for you to land back up, on your feet. But yeah, it's really cool. But this experience was freaking different, man. Because it's like I was out of body. He took me out of body, but yet I was still physical in this scenario. But yeah, this was really cool too, because when he plopped me down in that bedroom, and it was just all beautiful aqua blue, and I was just like, and there's flowers everywhere and chocolates. And I was just like, I cannot believe this, Okay, well, so anyway, so I don't really know if that being was just playing around or if he really wants to be my boyfriend. Yeah, like, I don't know. But, so anyway, I kind of got abducted again, just about an hour after this experience. I got abducted again after this experience, and it was just like all sexual, and they made me climax. I don't know if it was one reptilian or several, but they made me climax. And so I don't know if that had anything to do with this abduction, or if that was just a separate abduction, so to speak, by a different group of reptilians. And back on the David Icke forums, this one woman was kind of tuned to some of her reptilians too, and she wanted to know if they tended to show up during that time of the month. And I was like, you know what? I never even paid attention to that. I never paid attention. Well, the past few months, I've been paying attention, and they do show up lots of times. Well, even during period times, but they do show up lots of times during that time of the month, because they just somehow know you're like hornier or supposed to be hornier. See, they freaking know everything about humans and the human body and shit. And when I say humans, I mean, hybrids too. Supposedly everybody has, alien DNA and stuff. But yeah, so when I say humans, I mean hybrids too. But they know everything about the body, you know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, yes, and I felt like shit. I mean, I wasn't horny at all, yesterday, but on that first day, I was just like so weak all day long. And I conked out on the couch for a couple hours, man. Oh my God, it was the best nap. Yeah, but yeah, by the second day, I mean, I'm fine. Like today, I'm fine. But yesterday, I was like so weak and shit. But I wasn't, really horny at all. But they decided to make me horny during that second abduction. So yeah, and then I noticed it was a couple months ago when I had that other experience that it was that time of the month. So yes, they do like to show up if you're a female during that time of the month. So yeah, I'll try to talk to this being who thinks that I'm his girl now and see if he'll give me any more experiences. But this is the first time I ever had one like this, where a being gave me flowers, candles, chocolates, and presented me with, beautiful bed in the scenario, in this whole beautiful bedroom that was aqua sky bluish. It was awesome. But like I say, there were some red flowers sitting around, a couple red flowers on the bed, and some other flowers sitting around the bed. And there's a few candles. And like I say, there was the box of chocolates inside of the bag, the gift bag. And that was really awesome too. But yeah, so this experience was like totally cool. And I'm pretty sure I didn't forget anything. If I forgot anything, I'll put it in the description. But yeah, it was kind of cool. I don't know why he put a piano. Well, actually, I mean, we did used to have a piano, actually, when I was younger. That may be why he put it in the scenario. Yeah, we did have one all the way up till I was about 12 years old. And it was huge. It was taking too much damn space, so my parents got rid of it. But we had it for a couple years in the living room. And they were going to give us piano lessons, and they never did. And so maybe that's why he put the piano in the scenario. But yeah, I think it would have been awesome if he would have put diamonds and shit in the jewelry box, which he didn't. So anyway, thanks for listening.